Have you ever wondered how far a child's love for his father can go? Today we will tell you a story that will touch you deeply, a child who runs into a police station desperately asking to arrest his father. Stay with us until the end, because the reason behind this request will leave you speechless and make you reflect on how powerful love and sacrifice is. On a quiet morning in the small town of San Giovanni, the police station was immersed in the calm typical of a hot Tuesday. The cops were sipping their coffee and reviewing reports when, suddenly, the doors burst open. A 6-year-old boy, Lorenzo, came running in with eyes full of tears and desperation. "Please arrest my father," he shouted with all the strength he had. Little Lorenzo's request immediately shook the entire station. The policemen, confused and worried, gathered around him. Officer Maria, with her kind look, took Lorenzo by the hand and led him to a bench trying to calm him down. But the little boy kept repeating, "Arrest my father, he can't stay free." Maria, patiently and sweetly, tried to understand what had happened. Lorenzo, between sobs, revealed that his father, Roberto, often got angry, but he was unable to explain the reason for his request. The situation became even clearer when Lorenzo, with a trembling voice, said that his father could no longer bear hunger. The little boy explained that his father had deprived himself of food to feed him and that, one night, hearing his father crying in front of the empty refrigerator, he decided to do something. Lorenzo had heard on TV that in prison people received 3 meals a day and, in his innocence, he thought that his father's arrest was the only solution to save him from starvation. The policemen's hearts broke. The team immediately mobilized and went to Lorenzo's house. They found Roberto, malnourished and weak, but full of love for his son. The embrace between father and son at the police station was a moment of pure emotion that deeply touched everyone present. Roberto hadn't always been like this. Before the death of his wife, Lucia, the family's life was peaceful and full of joy. Lucia was a strong and loving woman, the center of their little family. His sudden death due to an incurable disease left an unfillable void in the hearts of Roberto and Lorenzo. With the loss of his wife, Roberto found himself alone in raising their son, struggling to maintain a balance between personal pain and the need to be strong for Lorenzo. San Giovanni was a small town, where everyone knew everyone. The community was united, but resources were limited. Roberto, despite his efforts, could not find a stable job. The small jobs he managed to get weren't enough to cover basic expenses, let alone fill the refrigerator. The days were long and difficult, but Roberto never complained in front of Lorenzo. Every evening, he put his son to bed with a bedtime story, trying to mask his worry with a smile. But children are more perceptive than you might think. Lorenzo noticed everything. He noticed how his father often sat at the table without eating, pretending not to be hungry. He noticed the tears that his father tried to hide. One night, while he was pretending to sleep, he heard Roberto talking to Lucia's photograph. "Why did you leave us, my love? How can I raise our son alone? I don't even have enough to feed him." That night was decisive for Lorenzo. The little boy understood that he had to do something to help his father, but he didn't know what. The next day, while watching cartoons, he saw a news report about prisons and how inmates received 3 meals a day. In his innocence, Lorenzo thought that this was the perfect solution. If his father had been in prison, he would have received food and care. So, he made a courageous and desperate decision. With a heavy heart and tears in his eyes, Lorenzo ran to the police station. When the officers understood the seriousness of the situation, they immediately took action. They arrived at Roberto's house and found him in a pitiful state. The house, once welcoming and warm, was now a sad and desolate place. Roberto was taken to the police station, where he saw Lorenzo running towards him. "Dad, I did all this for you," the boy said through tears. "I want you to be well, to eat and not to cry anymore." Roberto, heartbroken, hugged his son tightly. "Oh, Lorenzo, you shouldn't have. I'm so sorry you had to see all this." The community of San Giovanni, having learned of the situation, did not stand by and watch. Maria and the other policemen organized a fundraiser to help Roberto and Lorenzo and offered the boy's father a job as a custodian at the police station. Lorenzo returned to school with a smile on his face, knowing that his dad would be safe and he would no longer have to worry about food. The difficulties were not over, but the love and support of the community had given Roberto and Lorenzo new hope. Every evening, Roberto told Lorenzo a new tale, but now with a different awareness. "You know, Lorenzo," he said one night, "there are heroes in every story. And you, my little one, are my hero." Lorenzo smiled, finally feeling peace in his heart. Are you enjoying this story? Like this video and subscribe to the channel by activating the notification bell. Your support helps us create increasingly touching and meaningful content. Roberto and Lorenzo's life began to change day after day. With his new job as a janitor at the police station, Roberto found a sense of stability that had been missing for some time. The daily routine, made up of small gestures and new responsibilities, restored his dignity and hope. Every morning, Roberto woke up early, prepared breakfast for Lorenzo and accompanied him to school. Then he headed to the police station, where he carried out his duties with dedication. He cleaned offices, sorted documents, and took care of general maintenance. The police, who had initially seen him as a broken man, began to respect him and consider him an important member of their team. The community of San Giovanni continued to support Roberto and Lorenzo. Families took turns bringing food and other necessities, and neighborhood children often invited Lorenzo to play. Maria, the police officer who had welcomed Lorenzo that fateful morning, became a reference figure for him. He often invited him to his home, where Lorenzo could play with his children and feel part of an extended family. Roberto, grateful for all the help he received, began to contribute to the community. Whenever someone was in need, he was the first to volunteer. Whether it was fixing a fence or helping with a fundraiser, Roberto was always there. One evening, during a community dinner to celebrate the rebirth of San Giovanni, Roberto spoke with emotion, "Thank you all. You have given hope to me and my son, demonstrating that love and solidarity can make a difference. We will never forget what you did for us." The story of Lorenzo and Roberto not only changed their lives, but transformed the entire community of San Giovanni, which became an example of solidarity and love. If this story touched your heart, keep exploring more exciting stories on our channel. Watch the next suggested video here and subscribe so you don't miss any of our incredible stories. Thanks for being with us and see you next time.